That's it. We're off.
All right.
Tonight's thing with Don is about drumming. Now,
Yeah, that's going to be a good one, I think, mate.
I hope so.
Some great questions being sent in.
Yeah, I think so. And you know a
Yeah.
bit about drumming, don't you?
Very well. I've been at it a while.
This is it. We won't go into sort of how you started because it's all explained in your book.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is available in many forms. That's the one.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. What's that one, Chris?
It's
oh,
you do. You have seen. You signed them inside.
Oh.
Exclusive Slade Christmas card.
Oh right. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, mate. Yeah, yeah. Nice one. Yeah, but it's nice with the extra chapter in the paperback.
Yeah. All available from your local bookshops.
Lovely.
Suitable for Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we do the first one?
It's
how would you rate Cozy Powell, Keith Moon, or Bunny Carlos?
Well, the thing is that they've all got their own styles, really. I mean, as a drummer, Cozy Powell was great. Know, sad about that. That thing. I mean, Keith Moon was. I mean, when he came out, when the Who started in the '60s, I mean, he was so bloody original. There's some great fills on some of the live album, the one they did at Leeds, and I still don't know how he came back in. There's just one fill, and there's no way. Because when he started, I thought he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it, but he does. It's just incredible. And I always listen to it, think, how the bloody hell did he do that? Whether it was a fluke, I don't know, but it was just incredible. And as I say, I met him a few times. He's just as crazy as what you have read about him. But sort of innocent crazy, if you know what I mean. He was never out to be nasty.
No, I know what you mean.
Never out to be nasty. But I mean, and that Bunny Carlos, I've got no idea about him.
He's the guy out of Cheap Trick. You either know Cheap Trick or you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I only know that one record, which is a great record. I Want You to Want Me or something.
That's the one. Yes. Oh, that's the only one I know.
That really is all I know, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great record, but there's nothing special on that. So maybe I should dig him out and have a listen.
They did.
Mentioned.
Was it live at the Budokan? Was that live?
Was it? I don't know.
So it might be worth looking at that.
Yeah, I might check that out because I've never really thought about him. So yeah. Okay.
Right, we'll move on. And it's what advice would you give yourself if you could go back 60 years ago?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I mean, I don't know. I think I've been quite pleased with how I sort of progressed really over the time. Just basically learning from other drummers and different records, mate. That's all it was then.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Is that what you tell yourself? Listen to other stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how I learned. I mean, I was sort of listening to lots of stuff, and the thing is, and the more you learn about your craft, so to speak, the more you hear on certain records. You think, blooming hell, sort of you can hear like great tracks, and you sort of. There's especially the on the Al Green, the American soul singer.
Yeah.
He used Otis Redding's band on all his records, and Al Jackson, who was the drummer, incredible drummer, and I could never understand how he got such an incredible snare drum sound. Then I was sort of listening, and I suddenly realised every snare drum, whatever he played on the snare drum, he overdubbed on the tom tom as well.
Oh, right.
And I never realised until he came to do a fill, and it became a lot thinner than the rest of the song. But if anybody a drummer listens to that, it's a tom-tom overdubbed exactly what the snare drum is playing.
Oh, that's a good one to listen to.
I did actually use that trick on a few of our stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Brilliant. Next one.
Yeah,
He's
finger stick. But I don't. I think I tried it a few times. They kept on slipping out my hands, you know. But I ain't that kind of drummer, you
no,
know.
no.
Chris, you
Some
know, I
people do
mean,
it, some don't, do they?
I don't think I'd have the space anyway, you know, to do it. I'm just hell bent for leather all the way through, so I wouldn't have time to fiddle my sticks. You know.
That's a good quote.
Yeah, but he did say, and yes, I'm joking.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's a couple, isn't there? Next one's a little bit more complicated, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
about when Nod and Jim came up with a new song. Did you
Well,
know
what it
what to
was, I
play
mean,
on it?
it was different. I mean, there's what we started. We'd have like a rehearsal where they sort of maybe with acoustic guitars, and
Yeah,
they would play the song to me and H, and then
right.
I'd have a little cassette player, and then I'd take it home. It's like Thanks for the Memories, a classic one where
Yeah,
sort of you know, sort of I came up with all the drumming on that, you know, sort of the thing. And you know, when we actually, I was a lot more busier on
yeah,
that, a lot busier. And on the end, on the fade out, and then I did like a sort of a drum solo thing over the end to be faded out.
yeah.
But Chaz cut them all out. Chaz was never a
Oh,
drum
right.
person. Yeah, Chaz was never a drum person, you know. So
Oh,
yeah,
do you?
so they weren't there when the record came out.
Yeah,
And it's like with Far Away, Jim had just the intro, which is ba da ba da bomb. That's all he had.
yeah.
I said to him, that ain't long enough, Jim. It ain't long enough to bring the
No.
song in. So I just had it a bit old, ba da ba da bomb, ba 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 bomb.
Yeah.
You know, I sort of said that'll be the better one, the better lead into the song. You
But
know.
that as an example is great because it sounds, you can't imagine a song without that.
No, I know, but that's what it was. I mean, he just had ba da ba da bomb. I said, now there ain't long enough for an intro for what it
No.
was, and but a lot of that is down to the actual drum sound,
Yeah,
which Alan O'Duffy did.
right.
It was our
Yeah,
engineer at the time at Olympic Studios. It was him who got that drum sound. You
brilliant.
know, you know.
No,
So, but
well,
that's how that came about. You know, yeah.
um, the next one is we're getting back to, I don't know, it's more of a personal thing. Somebody's asking where you
Yeah,
place yourself.
I don't know. I mean, this journalist, American journalist Tim Summer, I've
Yeah,
never heard of him, Chris.
that's fair enough then.
I really don't know. So when I read all these questions through, I thought I've got to look him up on Facebook.
Yeah,
You know, because he said he's got. He said, well, he said he got his top 5 drummers, and I was in the top 5. But I've never met the guy. Not as I
no,
can, but I would know the name,
no.
and I'll just check him out and find out
Yeah,
about that.
it's a nice compliment though.
It is fantastic,
Yeah,
especially from America. I mean,
yes,
I must check him out. Like I
yeah.
said, until I read these questions, Chris, I'd never heard of the guy before. I
No,
don't
I
know the name.
think this is it. You either do know him or you don't. And the
Yeah,
next one, he says it's an obvious one, which it
yeah,
sort of goes back to what we've already done. Your greatest influences and
yeah. Well, I
who'd
mean,
you?
Ringo was one of my all-time heroes,
Yeah,
really. I mean, sort of. If only drum. I mean, he just swinged like crazy,
yeah.
and he played. It was such original stuff he played when he first came out. What he was doing, you know, sort of thing that nobody else was doing at the time. I
Was there
mean,
anybody? Was there anybody local? You know, when you go and see Danny Cannon and
yeah.
Montana, was there anybody in the local bands that
Well,
you?
actually, Danny Cannon and the Ramrods drummer, a guy named Alan
Yeah,
Lacey, I think his
yeah,
name is. He lived on Stowlawn. He lived about a couple hundred yards. So same with Danny Cannon lived on Stowlawn.
yeah, yeah,
You know, and Alan, he lived in the flats just above. You know, just
yeah,
above me, opposite the school. I mean, he was quite original at the time, you know, sort of thing.
yeah.
Like I said, them. I mean, I remember it was towards the latter part of the 60s when we played the Hen and Chickens
Yeah, yeah,
on the
Langley.
New Road.
Langley Green, is it? Yeah.
Is that on
Yeah.
the New Road? Is that on the
Yeah,
New
yeah.
Road? Yeah. And we played with, it was a cabaret band called The Way of Life. And John Bonham, a certain person called John
Oh,
Bonham
yeah,
was
yeah.
on
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, but John was, and he just blew me away. I could not believe what he was doing. He was playing like he does in Zeppelin, but with his cabaret band. I mean, he was so off the wall. I mean, but he was great. He was great to talk to as well. I mean, he was so broke at the time. Him and his wife, actually, his wife and her sister used to follow us around around that time as well.
Really?
I mean, he was so broke. His wife's name was Pat. I can't remember what her sister's name was. I think it was her sister anyway. But they used to follow us around as well. And when he joined Zeppelin, he was living in a caravan in Dudley somewhere. You know, so it just shows, doesn't it? You know, it's amazing.
Not bad.
Of all the drummers, I think John Bonham. I mean, to me, he was the ultimate rock drummer.
Fair enough. That would do.
I tell you, it was a great. I must tell you this. It was when we went to see him at Earl's Court in '75. I think they did 5 nights there.
Yeah.
And Planty was down the front doing his old hippie stuff, you know, the loves of life and the birds and the leaves on the trees and all that kind of thing. And he turned around to Bonham and he said, "What was your first love of life, Bonham?" And you heard Bonham at the background shouting, "A pint of mild." I mean, even Planty lost it. Even Planty crashed. You know? And it
Love
was
it.
great.
Black country. Excellent. Next one. Technical one. They use a lot of drummers.
I'm not that kind of drummer, Chris. You know, I mean, I did have some, but it's not my style, and I prefer just a single pedal. I can probably do more with a single pedal than I can with a double.
So not a double kick one. I mean, I don't know what a double kick one is. So.
Well, what it is, he said when people used to have double bass drums, right? Because they had a pedal on each bass drum.
Yeah.
And what these drum companies did, they adapted a pedal. So on the actual bass drum, there's 2 beaters.
Oh, right.
You know, on different sort of strings, and then you got a foot pedal for that, and it's like playing a double bass drum, but just on the one bass drum. Okay. It's all right if you're that type of drummer, but I'm not that type of drummer, so no. I think I would confuse the others if I started playing to be double bass drums, especially age. Yeah.
Talking of confused, the next question: how confused were you when you did that Merry Christmas?
Well, very confused. But what it was, I mean, well, we all were actually, but I was more so than the others. Now
it's a classic.
Of course, like we hit the hospitality bar. Of course, we just melted, and I'll tell you what, of all the promo films of Merry Christmas, they always show that one.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it's
genius. Yeah, no, I think it's just, I don't know, it's just good. It's fantastic. Love it. Right, back a bit more serious.
With the accident.
You have to learn to play again. And did your drumming style?
No, actually, when I came to play, actually playing drums wasn't the problem. You know, that was still there, but it was remembering everything that was the problem. You know, I mean, that was because of the amnesia, because of the bang on the head, the fractured skull. That was the problem, is remembering everything. Because I remember, I think we were on a tour that year, and wherever it was, Chris, I can't remember, but we said we're going to go on for the encore and we're going to do Merry Christmas. And I was shouting to Jim, "How does he go? How does he go? I don't know how he goes." And I had to get Jim to sing it to me before we went on stage. It all sounds ridiculous now, but I mean, it was very difficult for me. That was. It was a hard thing.
Did he do that with other songs? Did he sort of?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All of them, Chris.
But did you pick up on them the minute you'd done a couple of notes or whatever? You picked up on it.
Once we started, it was okay.
Yeah.
But it was sort of like whatever it was, the rehearsal, we said we do noise, and I think I hadn't got a clue. How did we start it? And when they sang it to me, that was okay then.
Yeah.
You know, but it was. I don't think it's very hard for people to understand that. You know, how, you know, sort of. You imagine that's something there that was, especially Merry Christmas. It was #1, and I ain't got a bloody clue how it went. You know, sort of thing. Because if you
memory's a strange thing.
Yeah, if you listen to the actual record of Merry Christmas, because the drums was put on later, and if you listen, I forgot got to stop at the end, you can just hear, if you got to listen very hard, you can just hear one smack on the snare drum where I hadn't stopped. You got to listen very hard for it, but you can just hear one little hit on the snare drum, you know.
That will send the fans running out to play it and buy it again.
That's it. But it's, I mean, you got to listen very hard, but it's there. It's there.
Right. Next one. When you first took up the drums again, how long did it take you to be able to use the sticks, bass drum, and cymbals without having to think about it?
I tell you what, I mean, without being egotistical, I think it came pretty easy. Yeah, really, it did come pretty easy. I never thought about it, but I used to go and watch a lot of bands. Especially, I say a lot of bands. There's only a few, like Danny Cannon and the Ramrods and the Strange, and a few other bands, you know. But I used to obviously watch the drum and learn. It wasn't that difficult, but then all it was mattered is adapting to a style, your own style, trying to get a style for yourself, you know. And I was just copying everything that was around, really. I mean, at the time we were playing like a lot of American stuff. I mean, we were playing quite a bit of blues. You know, this used to be Johnny and Mick before Slade form. And so there wasn't much thought actually having to go into like playing the blues, if you know what I mean.
It's just a rhythm thing.
I could have had a telly on the side of the stage. You could have been watching the telly while I was playing drums to the blues stuff, you know. But it was. I was pretty lucky, really. It was okay. All the coordination came pretty much straight away. All it was like really trying to develop your own style.
That's genius. That's good. Right, there's a few technical questions now. It's all about the maintenance of your kits. How do you store them to make sure the tension and things like that?
Well, the thing, I mean, I've actually got all my drums here at the moment, Chris, or everything here, you know. But normally, what I would do is, say, if we were about to go onto, they're all stored in proper sponge line cases. When I had them in the UK, all proper sponge line cases, and the warehouse we had, it was in Birmingham. And before we started a tour or date, whatever, I would have a couple of days with my drums, you know, just sort of maybe to change skins, just check all the tension rods, you know, and do things like that basically, and check all the little stands and stuff like that. I probably have a couple of days before, and just to check all that out, and then it gives me time to get anything, replace anything if need be.
Did you in the latter days when you were just you and Dave? Were you doing all that yourself, or did you have a
no, I used to do it all myself anyway. Even before that, I'd have whoever was roading for a bit of time with me, sort of thing. But it's more of a personal thing, Chris. You know, to do it, and I had to try and explain to somebody. It'd be quicker if they just sit and watch me than trying to explain, sort of thing. You know, so it was quite nice actually to sort of go through the whole lot. And all the drums and all the cymbal stands, cymbals, and just see what maybe needed replacing. Because at the time I was signed to Ludwig, which was a fantastic company at the time. And all I needed to do, because their distribution place in London, I was mates with everybody, and a guy named Brent, who used to look after me at Ludwig in London, I used to call him up or send him, it was a fax in those days, send him a fax, I need this and that, and it'd be with me the next day.
Fantastic.
Incredible.
Well, next one's referring back to your accident again. Did it affect your drumming at all as you went on? Was there a noticeable difference from when you had the accident till after it? I suppose that's what I asked.
I'm not for me actually playing drums, you mean?
It looks like it, doesn't it? Did it affect the way you drum?
Not really. Like I said, it didn't affect my actual playing. The only thing that I did, you know, is I said I couldn't remember the songs. But actually playing drums wasn't a problem. The one thing I did forget is, remember, I used to wear sticky plaster on my fingers on both hands, and I forgot to do that the first night, wherever it was, I can't remember. Oh God, the blisters on my fingers when I came off. Then I suddenly remembered, Yeah, I forgot to put my bloody plasters on. But I mean, it took a few days because there's these massive blisters on the 2 fingers and thumb on each hand, and I had to try and get those to go down, sort of thing. But it didn't really affect the way I played drums.
No.
So just
Okay.
remembering everything.
Fair enough. Next one's a little bit of a techie one.
Yeah.
We know about the chrome Ludwig kit.
Yeah. I wish I should have kept that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where it is. So I think I heard there's a rumor that it was in the Hard Rock in Tokyo, but I've got no idea. Maybe I should try and find out.
Yeah.
But that was great because that was the first tour of America with Humble Pie.
Yeah.
And we were in Chicago, and Jerry Shirley, Humble Pie's drummer, his roadie was going to Ludwig when we played Chicago. We were there for a couple of days, and I said, "Can I come along with you?" He said, "Of course you can." So I introduced you. And Bill Ludwig the first was still alive then, and it was just like the old works visit, around the factory, and that was Bill Ludwig, sort of checking the snare drums as they came off flying. I mean, Bill the third, who was a really big mate now, he was only a kid then, sort of thing. But there was Bill's secretary, a lady M.K. Starr, Kay Holson, Kay somebody anyway, and she was fun. She basically ran the company, and she said, "Well, we can give you a deal, blah blah blah." So we were totally unknown in the States at that particular time.
Yeah.
And it actually made me. I said I wanted this chrome kit making. Yeah. I don't want any full chrome. I still want the wooden shells for the depth, but just like a chrome plastic cover around it. So it wasn't actually chrome.
No.
And they made all that and all the sizes. And I think it cost me about $1,000. I mean, these days it probably cost about nearly 20 grand to buy something like that. But I had everything was doubled up for spares.
Yeah.
And that they shipped it all to London for me. Free of charge. Everything was shipped to London and all that. They let me know. Well, I checked out. It was at Heathrow, and I went down. All I had to do, they sent a letter notification to the customs, everything in London, that it was a gift. Blah blah blah, which he would, and all I had to do was sign for it and just take it away. And then at one time I went down to sort of to the distribution company in London to sort some things out. I don't know what it was, some drum things, and I got my checkbook out. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I've got to pay." She said, "You don't pay." I said, "Well, I have done in the past." He said, "Well, you shouldn't do." And I said, I think you better check that out." Anyway, he said, like I said, it was a fax in those days. He faxed to Kay at Ludwig, came back, "No, you don't pay for your drums. Everything, you're a full Ludwig endorser." I thought, yes, it's Christmas Day. But no, they were a fantastic company. I remember I'll just tell this one, because the one time when I was in Japan, in Tokyo, or whatever, I needed something for a foot pedal. So I just sent her a fax from the hotel machine saying, "Can you help me out? I need so and so, so and so." And then more or less straight away a fax came back. "Yes, go to this drum shop in whatever address in Tokyo. They're expecting you. You just got to pick up what you want, sign for it, and walk away with it." I mean, all that's gone now, Chris.
Well, they asked about before that. You had the Heyman kit, a blue Heyman kit.
The reason I got that was a big kit as well. But the reason that was I couldn't afford Ludwig at the time because they were very expensive.
Right.
So Heyman made me that kit in London. It was very cheap, and that was.
So did you travel over to America? You were talking about the Humble Pie thing. Did you travel? Is that the one you took to the States with you?
Yes. That was the one I had in America.
And where did that? Do you know what happened to that?
I've got no idea what happened to that. The same thing again. These things are in storage. All of a sudden they disappear.
Yeah. They asked what snare drums did you use with the Heyman kit?
Those I used to have the Ludwig ones, the really deep ones, they're like 5.5, 6.5 inch snare, like more or less like military snare things. I mean, they were so. I had 5 of those on the road. I mean, because it was all given to me.
And what about the Heyman ones?
That I just use the box standard, snare drum,
okay,
a 5.5, the box standard one, And it's like I always wanted the deep one, but I couldn't afford them. And of course, when I got signed to them, I had bloody 5 on the road with me.
Right. Next one. Who would? Well, you've done this. What other bands would you like to play on stage?
The Eagles.
Got to be, isn't it? Don't have to say any more.
No, I'll probably know the songs better than they do.
Yeah. Read the book.
Hey?
I say read the book.
All right.
The Eagles. Read the book. Yeah. And next one. Okay, then. Sort of following, I suppose. You on drums. Who else would be your super group?
I wouldn't know. I don't know about that. I mean, sort of like. Jimmy Page is incredible. I mean, Robert Plant the same again. Sort of.
So it's basically Zeppelin.
Sorry.
It's basically Zeppelin then.
Yeah, and Neil Murray, he was with Whitesnake when we toured with them. He's the bass guitar, incredible bass player. And John Law, sadly, is dead now from Deep Purple and Whitesnake. Sadly on keyboards, fantastic keyboard player. But that'll do. I'd pay to see that one.
Yeah. Right. Now, that was a question. Somebody who's left-handed, do the drums have to be set up a different way?
Well, of course, the opposite way around. I mean, sort of like you'd have like the hi-hat. I mean, my hi-hat, because I play like orthodox, is on my left-hand side. He'd have to play with it on the right-hand side, on the same. It should just be the other way around,
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. Another one then. Shuffle pattern, which appeared on many songs.
Well, that started. It was when we were rehearsing. It was we used to rehearse at the schools in Wednesbury.
Yeah.
We used to rehearse in the classroom, but because it was so blooming loud, the drums are so bloody loud in there, and I just went on the snare drums to sort of. I think it was because I love you, that. And Jim said, "Oh, we've got to keep that. You've got to keep that." I said, "It's only the reason I'm playing that was to keep quiet so I can hear everything."
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But it works on nearly every hit in the 70s.
That's going back to that previous question about your input into the songs, isn't it?
Yeah.
You were doing the snare. Nobody else thought of it. You did it.
No. Well, I'll tell you what. I didn't realise till a long time, many years after Chris, Ringo actually does the same thing on Get Back.
Right.
He just plays on the snare. He just plays on the snare drum.
Yeah.
But the reason the reason I did it because I was so loud in the bloody rehearsal, I just went on the snare drum to keep so I could hear everything, and it just became a thing.
No, brilliant. That'll do. Yeah. Right, next one is John Coughlin. He's very old school when it comes to tuning his drums. No gaffer tape involved. What's your personal preference for tuning?
I would love to do that, and it drives me nuts when sound guys come up and sort of, try and gaffer everything down because half the time because they don't know how to mic drums up,
right.
I mean, I admire him, John, for not having any gaffer tape. It's one thing. It's the bane of my life is to have the drums taped to hell. It's all right, maybe they have a bit of dampening on the snare drum, but they make these little plastic gels now. Right. You can actually put on the snare, and they're fantastic. Only just sort of just put on the snare drum, and it works. But it's one thing I hate is that everything. It's like hitting a piece of wood.
So there's no response to it.
When everything's they just take the sound out the drum.
Yeah.
It's only when they don't know what to do.
That's fair enough.
It's right. It's only because they don't know what to do.
Yeah. No. We got quite a long one next.
Yeah.
It's going back to your part in Slade's music again. Special drum patterns on "Come On Feel the Noise," "Squeeze Me, Please Me," Summer Song, "When the Lights Are Out."
Yeah.
Instead of it in the snare drum on a classic 2/4. Oh my word! You're delaying the 2 between 2 and 3. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I think it's sort of it. See, the thing is, a lot of people think there's something clever there. It ain't. I
Well, they
say,
say if you read it, I think it's genius. So this bloke and my fellow musicians, or they refer to it as the power rhythm. So
yeah. But
you might think it's run of the mill, but other
yeah.
people think
But
it's
I'm not
great.
saying that, Chris. People think it's a lot more complicated than what it is.
Yeah.
I'd love to maybe do a clinic one time and actually show them this is all it is. Maybe if we do something in the future, Chris.
You could do with one of these things on here, a clinic, because you can get dozens of people
Yeah,
on this.
but so many people ask me about that, especially in America.
We'll sort something out.
Yeah, because and I say it ain't what you think. I said
No.
instead of my right hand, instead of playing the cymbal, I just play the both hands on the snare drum.
Right. Okay then. We'll do it. At some
But
point. We'll
get
do a
that
Don
sorted.
Powell's on a drum clinic.
Get that sorted, Chris.
Oh well, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Another one about relearning the songs after your accident. You've touched on that one, haven't you?
We've covered that. I had to learn everything.
Yeah, and if you still use the Chrome Rugby kit in the studio after the band finished playing live,
No, well,
that's later on.
It's a long story as to why it went, but I won't go into it now.
No,
But
okay.
it's a long story. But that's one kit I wish I had.
Yeah, there's a lot of people liked it because the next question,
The
Bob Rock thing, change of image, smoke machine.
Well, I think what it was, I think we're just trying to get up to date a bit with certain things, and like doing that kind of thing.
Okay.
But you can do without me, like I did going to the toilets in Portland studios, sort of because it was a fantastic open sound there.
Yeah.
And but you can do that now in the studio. Like when I was recording over here just last week, I mentioned to Torben, the engineer, about that kind of thing. He said we can do that. He showed me, put the mics up, and then he can do things on the desk.
It's all different now, isn't it?
Then, sorry.
It's all different now, isn't it?
All different. It's a lot more advanced now. It's frightening what can be done.
Right. Next one. Which Slade tune is the most technical and inspirational, or the other way round? You once said in an interview that you almost fell asleep during Let's Call It Twit.
That's just so simple. That's just so simple. I think that's what it was, and it's a very slow tempo as well, sort of thing. I had to make sure. Sorry. I'm just to hold back in the studio, which normally we just got hell-bent for leather,
So
sort of thing.
What was the most technical one for you then? Do you know?
I don't know how I can answer that one. I don't know.
I don't think you're a sort of technical drummer, if you know what I mean.
No,
you play what you want to play.
I'm just a straight-ahead rock drummer.
Yeah.
You know.
You're not going to be.
It's funny, a lot of people. I'll tell you who it was. It was when Queen played the Civic back in the 70s, and Jim and Lou had them at Roundford. We were mates with them, right?
Yeah.
And I came round to Jim and Lou's to have something to eat before going to the Civic. We were all there. Well, I was there, and Jim, obviously, and his wife Louise made something to eat. And I can't remember it came out. And I think it was The Whole World's Going Crazy. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
And Jim was going to take it off, and Brian said, "No, leave it on. He says, and he looked at me. He says, "I wish Roger could play something like that." And it's just a dead simple rock thing.
Yeah.
It's just. But a lot of people, if they play too technical, they can't just lay the beat down. They've got to flash around the kit or do something, Well,
I always remember. No offense to drummers, but so you go to some gigs and the drum solo it was 20-minute drum solo. What on earth's going on? You've only got 5 drums, So what can you do? You're just delaying the bass solo.
It's just the only incredible drum solo I heard was Buddy Rich in New York when I went to see him at his club.
Oh right, yeah.
yeah, and that was up in a small club, and that was it wasn't rock, it ain't rock,
No, it's jazz, isn't it?
obviously,
Something. Yeah.
but it's incredible technique,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
I had to applaud him, for that. It was incredible what he was doing. Probably nobody else would understand it, but obviously being a drummer, sort of thing. But it
You know
ain't
what's going
rock.
on.
It ain't rock. He probably never breaks a stick,
No.
sort of thing. Anyway,
Right.
but there. Yeah.
Next one then, which you've done, is about John Bonham. We've already touched on that one, haven't we? So, do you ever hear any drummers only because of their abilities in drumming? I suppose you don't like you're not particularly fan of the music, but you hear the drumming. Like your Buddy Rich thing, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, to me, drumming has to be with feel, Chris. There's got to be a feel with drumming.
Yeah. So
all right. I've always said it's all right. It's all right flashing around the kick 10 to the dozen, but if you're not saying anything, why? To me, I mean, Ringo's got incredible feel. And the guy named Al Jackson, who used to play on all the Otis Redding records, and Al Green, he's got a feel just incredible. And that to me means more than flashing around the crick, 10 to the dozen.
I'll argue with that one. Okay, next one, dead easy one. Have you ever played anything else other than drums?
Well, I tried to learn to play guitar once.
Who sold you that guitar?
No, I paid for him. I paid for him the same as what he paid for it. 40
I love that
quid.
story. I love just like that story.
40 quid. And I tell you, I put it in the rock and roll sale.
No.
At Sotheby's. Now, listen, I put it in the rock and roll. I paid him 40 quid, right? And I put it in the rock and roll sale, saying this was the acoustic guitar, which is true, that Nod wrote Merry Christmas on. And I said, and I got a bit of paper and sort of wrote a few of the lyrics out, dusted it all up, screwed it all up, and sellotaped it to the top of the guitar, right? This is what he played on top of the box. I got 600 quid for it. I called. I said, "Remember that guitar?" No, I did. I've just got 600.
Hey, there's somebody somewhere looking at a wall they got it up on a wall somewhere.
Perhaps I shouldn't have said anything.
No, I'll delete that.
Well, I learned to play a 12-bar in E, and Teddy Bear's Picnic, and that was it. So that's
rock and roll.
So it's hardly going to be a double album.
No. Okay. What's the worst things that happened doing something flash when drumming? Flying sticks, hitting somebody, anything like that? You ever done that?
Yes. Well, it wasn't anything flash. It was in the 70s. I think I don't know it was Wolverhampton Civic, but it was somewhere, and I broke a stick. Right. Whatever song it was, I can't remember, Chris, whatever song it was. And of course, when I broke it, I just let them fly so I can just get another one quickly. And I let this stick fly, and you bounce on the side. And it's a bouncer that was down the front. It's a bouncer on the back of the head. And he thought I'd done it on purpose. He turned around to me. The look he gave me, I was going. He thought, it looked like I'd done it on purpose, Well,
the next question is going about the same thing. You used to come up with welts on the shoulders and back where you hit yourself. Was that true?
Yeah, well, that's it. Sometimes when I used to bring my hands all the way back, so they've got bruises on them. Look like I've been to one of those clubs, sort of thing. They've got bruises all on my bloody back and everything, but...
I understand.
It was always hard trying to explain to my mum what it was.
That's rock and roll for you. Explain to your mum.
Yeah.
Right. Are we back to the Blue Heyman kit, which you've already done, and the Ludwig?
Yeah. Ludwig kit.
Any song? How long did it take you to master the Goodbye to Jane intro? Or was that one of yours?
Because what it was sort of an intro to a TV show we used to do in Holland.
Oh, the Pop Gala or something.
Hits a Go-Go.
Hits a Go-Go.
It was Holland or Germany, and it was a similar kind of thing to that, but a lot faster. But a similar kind of thing. I thought, and me and Jim looked at each other, and that's what it was. That again, Chris, it's the same. People think it's so complicated. It ain't.
No.
It's all right me saying that because I've played it for so long. It ain't complicated. It's the same again. It's just a feel thing, Chris.
Right. Now, we're running out of time, Don.
Okay.
We've only got a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
So if we call it a day for that, because we've still got quite a few questions to get through, we'll do another session next week. That's all right with you.
Do as many as you want, mate.
Because this has been brilliant, I think.
Let me see. We've just done 32. So
yeah, so we've got another 13 to go.
33, right? I'll make a start of that. Start.
Yeah, I've done the same. I made a mark, so we know where we are.
Yeah, there's some great questions, Chris.
They've been really good. That was sticking out to the fans.
Sorry?
Oh, that was putting it out to the fans. I mean,
yeah, it's great.
I'm not a drummer, so
so it'll be great. I mean, there's some really good ones there, you know, sort of, yeah. So
and we got the same. So I'll knock off the record button. I'll still be here. I'll talk to you for a couple of minutes
Fine.
We'll do it. So I'll say thanks for the first session.
Nice one, guys. Nice one, guys. Looking forward to the next one.